Well, the Western Cape High Court is set to hear an urgent court application brought by the EFF on the general fuel levy increase tomorrow. In his third attempt at tabling the budget speech last month, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana announced a general fuel levy increase of 15 cents per litre for diesel and 16 cents per litre for petrol. The General Tax Levy increase is expected to come into effect on the 4th of June. Now, the EFF filed its papers last week and argues that the implementation of the fuel levy increase will be economically harmful. Wayne Duvenage is the Chief Executive Officer for the Organization Undoing Tax Abuse. Wayne, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for your time. So we dodged the VAT increase, but now we are speaking about, the fuel levy. I know Outer started calling for the reduction of the general fuel levy by R1 a litre in July of 2018. That way back. Your take now on the general tax levy increase?
Yeah, look, I think let's put it all into context. I mean, we've been saying for some time that this continuous increase by Minister of Finance after Minister of Finance for decades now, well over 2.5 decades, has pushed the fuel levy up from around about R1 some 15 years ago to R3.86. And it was becoming untenable, and there wasn't much consequences being given to the impact this was having on the economy. And lo and behold, 3 years ago, just as we went into COVID, the current Minister of Finance, Godongwana, decided to hold the fuel levy. In fact, he reduced it for 6 months as a reprieve during COVID, and then decided over the next 3 years not to increase the fuel levy. So firstly, we should commend him for that and congratulate him, because this continuous increase does have an impact on the economy. And he could have increased it, by the way. In fact, many economists suggested he does do it when you are in a tax bind like this. And I guess a 10 cent, 15, 20 cent increase per annum in the last 3 years would have probably gone unnoticed, especially that we've been able to bring the fuel price down from 25 Rand by R3 or so more per litre. So I don't think the EFF's case is a strong one, and by saying that, we're not advocating that the fuel levy should go up, but it is one of the mechanisms available to the Minister of Finance, which he has every right to do as he balances the books. And he's been very good, I think, in the last 3 years by not increasing it. So going up 16 cents as a reprieve or as an alternative to putting the VAT increase up by 0.5%, we believe is the lesser of two evils.
And in fact, Treasury has defended, of course, its stance, saying that by not adjusting the fuel levy, Treasury would lose billions in revenue. I mean, what position do you think this also places on Treasury, and could they have found an alternative, do you think?
Well, they're in a bind. We are pretty much broke as a country. Our debt is too high. And I think the days of government just coming out with whatever tax increases they want are gone now, that they have to do so in partnership with opposition parties, which the GNU has demonstrated to us. So we're in a better position now to force government to go back to the table and find savings, as opposed to continuously coming to the public for these increases. But this increase is going to only probably give them about 4 billion Rand, well below what they needed, but it is some reprieve. And we've always said that the Commission of SARS has indicated very clearly to government, to Treasury, that there's other money that can be collected, and that given the resources, they will be able to do so. And we've been saying this for many years to government: cut the fat, stop the wasteful expenditure, and find other ways to meet our budget requirements, as opposed to just increasing taxes, including the fuel levy year after year. That process is starting to unfold now, but it is going to mean a few cents here and there on the fuel levy. And as I said, the lesser of two evils. We don't advocate for it, but if I was in the minister's shoes, I would have probably done this before I even came for the VAT increase.
I mean, you spoke briefly about the EFF's case, saying that it's probably not the strongest. In its application to the Western Cape High Court, the party is arguing that the finance minister doesn't have the power to increase taxes without Parliament's permission. What due diligence should be followed, do you think, here when a decision like this is being taken?
Well, he does have the powers, quite frankly. Never in the past has the ministers of finance, all of them, had to go to Parliament to seek approval to push up the fuel levy, alcohol taxes, cigarette taxes. Every year we've heard, and in the past where the ANC had the majority, they came along and said, right, here is the budget, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be X amount on taxes, X amount on company tax, sin taxes will go up by so-and-so, and the fuel levy will go up by so-and-so. And all of this is in the process of the budget proceedings. So we don't understand what argument the EFF has here. We don't believe they have a good argument at all. So, but it'll be very interesting to see how this is taken in court. But as I said, they've never had to get permission before, because it is a money bill process that follows the due process of the budgetary process, which the Minister of Finance has every right to, and has demonstrated that in the past. So he didn't need to come and get their permission, or the EFF's permission, or anybody in Parliament. He needed to just process it, as they have done in budget submissions in the past. And we think that's what they've done in Budget 3.0, although it took a little bit longer to get there.
All right, Wayne, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Wayne, of course, is commenting as the CEO for the organization Undoing Tax Abuse. The Western Cape High Court set to hear that urgent court application brought by the EFF on the general fuel levy increase tomorrow.